Hello everybody, Reggie Time here, and in a moment we're going to review 24 hands where I have called the river, and we're going to count just how often villain was pure bluffing in these spots. One of my biggest leaks, weaknesses, whatever, is I think I'm a bit zombie-ish and a bit stationary on rivers. How much so compared to how often I should be calling? I don't know, to be honest with you. I make money overall. Like my river call frequency, efficiency, sorry, is always well, long term over a big sample. It's always been positive. I think it's been around like 1.35, which means every dollar I put in the pot on the by calling a river bet, I get $1.35 back. I don't know what a good river call efficiency should look like. If any of you guys out there know that sort of thing, what's overall like a large sample, what a good river call efficiency is, let me know, please. 1.35 to me feels like it's a little bit low. I guess maybe we're meant to just break even with our river calls because we're meant to bluff catch quite a lot, and a lot of our bluff catches are going to be like zero EV. And then obviously like we make money when we have a value hand and we're getting like someone's value warning themselves. But I don't know. I don't know what a good river call efficiency looks like. Um, you know that based on my own sample. So let me know what yours is if you're watching this video and you have tracking software. You'll be able to find out both in Holder Manager and in Poker Tracker if you just add river call efficiency to your like results tab. Let me know what it is. I'd be happy to let me know what it is. Let me know what sample size it's over. So let's get into the hands. There could be some fucking horrendous calling from me here. There could be some good calling. Who knows? I haven't filtered these hands for like fuck. I don't want to show that one because it makes me look like an absolute muppet. I've just filtered for river calls with pot size over a certain size. Um, so here we isolate a really shit limp. I mean, this guy's orange tag, but he's just a fish. He's just a very tight fish. Another fish calls and original fish calls. Top pair. We bet around 1/3 pot. Entirely reasonable. Maybe could consider going bigger versus these two player types. Call fold. Turn deuce. He now donks the turn for half pot. What do we know about him? Turn donk percentage 31%, 4 from 13. I mean, we're not folding, obviously. So we call. River 8, so we got pretty dry run out. Villain donks river now for 3/4. Well, leads river for 3/4 pot. So do we have a reasonable bluff catch here? Do we beat value? That is the question. This guy has a 38% river bet percentage, and he wins 73% of the time. When he bets a river and gets called, he wins 73%. So how often do we think a player with that profile is actually bluffing? Probably not so often, but he does, he loses 27% of the time. We need 31% equity. So that's pretty close, I guess, if we're just using that as like a pure like, right, this guy loses 73% of the time when he bets a river. We only need 31% equity. So in those terms, we maybe have like a slight losing call. Based purely on the fact that how often those 73% of fans has he lost because he's just been like pure bluffing? How many of those 27% hands he lost has been because he's value owned himself? That's the bit we don't know. I think we can probably fold this hand because there's just no draws on the turn that he's betting. Jack 10 maybe, which we block. I mean, it's just so dry. Check, call, flop, donk, turn. I see why I've called this in game. I'd just be autopilot in top pair. His line doesn't make sense. Call. But I think actually on this board, try to find some bluffs. Does he do this? Let's try and find value with beat. Does he do this with like Queen X? No. Does he do it with King 10? Unlikely. Has he turned a set of deuces? Probably not, but we did only bet 1/3. Would he check with a set of sixes on the flop? Probably at some frequency. King, queen, which we block. So I'm trying to think like, I think it's just a fold. There's just not enough bluffs out there, and I don't think we beat enough value. So this, I'm going to put this down as a bad call, but the challenge of the video is how many times do we actually see villains bluffing? Do we do call? And he river queen 8, so yeah, that's 0 bluffs up to now. I mean, his line's just really bonkers. Check called donk is just really shit with this hand. But if he's going to get there on the river, then good for him. Next hand, we have 2 kings. We have a limp, the ISO, call, call. Get donked into here. We should just raise. This guy only donks 12%, but it's a small sample size. We should just raise here. Which I do. One calls. Turn to 10. Well, we're going to get bet into on the river. So no, what I don't do. I obviously don't jam here, but I think we should continue bet. If I don't bet here, I'd be disappointed. But I suspect I might not, given we're looking at hands where villains just bet river. I guess I'm thinking here, my thinking here was bet is called a large raise. 10x is like a decent chunk of his range, but so is flush draws, so straight draws, which we don't block flush draws, we don't block queen jack, we don't block jack 8, we don't block other like straight draws. We can't be too scared of the 10. We should bet, but I'm surprised if I do, given that we're looking at hands where we've called river bets. Yeah, that's bad from me. Should just continue betting there. We just get so much action. I mean, we bet he jams, we have to call it off, and we're probably dead. But we get so much action from like so many calls from draws. Some worse made hands. I just don't believe it. So this is a bad check back from me. River break. He bets half pot. We don't get to fold here. He doesn't have 3x in his range. You wouldn't imagine. So he's basically saying, I've got a 10. That's what he's saying. I've donked a 10, I've called a 10, and then I've hit a 10 on the turn. So yeah, his value range is like probably just maybe pocket nines too. I guess pocket nines just 3 bets a flop sometimes. Very much doubt he has a 3. So his value range is basically 10x, and he has infinite bluffs, so quite a lot of bluffs in his range. We have to call here. I'm not kicking myself for the call, but I am kicking myself for not betting the turn, regardless of whether we win or lose this pot. I think turn should have been a bet, but I think as played, this call is mandatory. But the question is villain bluffing? Nope, of course they're not bluffing. So that's 2-0 to the value bets. Open Jack 10. Call by a whale in the small blind. And called by a reg in the big blind. Flop a 10. Check, check. Bet small, I guess. Fold. Villain check raises. Can we just fold now? This is going to be a bad hand from me, I guess. I think we can just fold here. But I mean, yeah, he's a reg. Yeah, he's theoretically should be attacking like small bet sizes with a wide range, but it just rarely happens in reality. In theory, yep, he's meant to have like quite a wide range here for doing this, or quite a lot of hands for doing this. In practice, he has 9%, which is higher than population, but still, nevertheless, it's a very small number of hands still. I think we should just fold. Obviously, we're not going to. Turn to 5. He now bets 2/3 pot. I expect him to continue with most of his range at check raises flop. Not happy about it. This could be really bad from me. We do end up calling again though. And river is a queen. And he goes all in. And why am I calling here? I guess I'm just not believing him. Well, obviously not believing him. And there's no guess about it. When I call here, and we all know I'm going to already because this video is all about river calls. Just putting him on bluffs, but like seriously, what bluffs am I putting him on? 5-3 suited, turning itself into a bluff. 7-5 suited, doing the same. 8-9, 8-7. These are all the hands that villain could, in theory, have, but in reality, rarely do. Like his bluffs are mostly going to be like straight draws here at like 8-9, 8-7, 5-3, 5-7, things like that. And his value is pretty much going to be pocket fours, pocket sixes. That's about it. So he's only got pocket fours and pocket sixes, and he's a reg, and he could have like lots of busted straight draws. Do we just justify calling down here? I think in theory, this could be a call. In practice, I think it's going to lose money. Because is he finding all the check raises with all those straight draws we mentioned, all the open enders and all the gut shots? If he is, and he's barreling them, then this is a trivially easy call. If he's not, and the check raise of 9% suggests maybe he isn't, then this call is not making money. We need to win 33% of the time. I know why I've called in game. I've called because of all the straight draws I've missed. And we're going to win one at last. Nope. He just had 2 sixes. Of course he did. Okie dokie. On to the next one. By the way, we haven't caught a bluff yet. We haven't found someone bluffing yet. Someone's posted here. We ISO. Call from a fish. Call from the poster. So plop ourselves top pair. Min donk. Raise. The call or raise is fine here. I mean, this don't care about his range. He's got 18 big blinds. We've got top pair. Couldn't give a fuck about him. This guy's posted, and now he's raising. And we have a strong hand where we can definitely get called by some worse hands, like worse Jack X, 10-9, Queen 10, Queen 9. I think we've got an optional raise here. It's not mandatory, but it's optional. We do go with the raise this time. Villain clicks. Probably in abandoned ship territory here. We probably shouldn't be continuing, but he's clicked. So, I mean, what are we going to do? We need 15% equity to call. We probably can't. We probably shouldn't raise this if we're going to fall to a click. But maybe we just raise it and always fold when we get 3-bet. Or nearly always fold. But what if he's got Jack 10? What if he's got Jack Queen? What if he's just an absolute uber moron? I mean, he's posted, he's raised, and he's clicked. There's quite a few potential moron happenings going on there. I mean, I think this probably is to fold versus this line. Obviously, I didn't make it. What have I done? What have I done there? What is this, Reg? I guess I just wanted to get all the money in. And then just trying to like induce a shove from him or something. And this must have been like very read dependent at the moment. It had to, this is not a thing I do. So this just has to be. Maybe I just had to read this guy was like tilting his tits off. Maybe I had to read that he's been like he was just too aggressive and he would just stack off wide. Yeah, this is mental. This has to be read based. There has to have been something happening in the moment that made me think clicking it back was a good play against this particular villain, because clearly this isn't something that I'm doing at any normal frequency. He calls 3-turn. He now leads for 18 big blinds. Guess as played we could raise again or just call. We call. There was a deuce. He bets and leaves 10 behind. We just have a call. And villain had the 8-3 offsuit. I guess that's why I think I can raise the flop, even though he had 8-3, so he had two pairs. I clearly just knew this guy was an absolute whopper dopper doodah, and was just trying to keep just clicking raise till all the money's in. Would have been my idea there, and the click back would just have been maybe to induce another bet from him. Yeah, but anyways, it's another one that's not a bluff. We still haven't caught a bluff. Open 3x, get three callers, flop trips, bet, villain raises, just call, obviously. Turn 10, check. Villain bets full pot. I mean, this is already scary against this guy. He's 20/13. His post flop aggression stats are fucking low, 26, 28, 34. They are way below average. But we've got trip queen, so we just obviously never fold. But I don't remember this hand, but I'm guessing right now he's got exactly pocket fours. Exactly pocket fours. Maybe ace queen, but I think ace queen's more inclined to slow play and trap. Whereas pocket fours is just yeah, I hope you got a queen, mate, and I can just stack you. River jack, check. All in. Clearly can't fold. Just pay off pocket fours, I guess. Yep. That's another one where villain was not bluffing. So that's 5 out of 5 so far for the value. Two jacks. Kind of loose aggro looking fish. Open small blind. We 3-bet. He calls. Check. I think bet quite big here versus an aggro fish. It's full to C bet in 3-bet pot is just 38%. Yeah, I think just bet biggish, half pot or bigger. Calls. Turn break. Check. We need to start thinking about how we want to manage the SPR for the river. We bet 20, he calls. That's, 20's fine, isn't it? 20 leaves half pot for the river. That's too small, Reg. He min raises. We call because we just don't lose to very much whatsoever. Slow played over pairs. 3 10s, 3 8s. No deuce X in his range, you wouldn't imagine. 4 river. He goes all in. We have the trivial call. Yeah, we found a bluff. And maybe that's just a reaction to the fact we had downsized turn. We just bet quarter on the turn. But we found a bluff. And surprise, surprise, it was a fish doing it, not a regular. Because regulars never bluff. Or rarely bluff. Should never say never. But they significantly under bluff. I think I can say that with a high degree of confidence. Queen 10. 3x. Not sure why this player's got an orange tag, yellow tag, because he does not deserve one. He's got 29.19 with a 1% 3-bet. What a fucking idiot. Anyway, he calls. What this 1% 3-bet does mean is that he has a ton of strong hands in his small blind flying range. Really strong hands, like jacks, maybe queens, ace king, ace queen. They're all in there. The guy 3-bets 1%. If that 1% is accurate, he has a ton of strong hands here. Anyways, we flop really well. He donks out. He donks 18% of the time, apparently. Doesn't matter what we do here. Call, raise, doesn't matter. We'll go for call this time. Turn pairs the board. He bets out again. Pretty big. Bear in mind, this guy can have jacks here. He can have nines. Probably doesn't have 4x. He can still probably have pocket queens. He can have some bigger flush draws. King X suited. ace-X suited, so it's not a comfortable spot against someone who never three bets. But I still decide to go for the raise. Surprised at myself for doing that. Pretty surprised at myself for doing that against someone this passive who can have a ton of strong hands in his range. Yeah, I don't like my play. He calls. We river the second nut flush. He goes all in. We just have to call and just hope he doesn't have a full house, I guess. And was he bluffing? He was absolutely bluffing. He was bluffing with a very strong draw on the flop and turn, and then river he was bluffing. So that's two bluffs now. Just mark them down on a notepad so we can keep score at the end. That's two bluffs we've found. One that made no sense and one that made a little bit of sense post flop, but pre flop, fuck off, mate, and grow up. Next hand, two fives. Limps around, we check obviously. We're going to flop a set because why else would we be in a big pot here? Lead out from really bad aggressive fish, 84-25, and that these aggression numbers post flop are all above average. So we're just going to trap this guy. We're not going to raise, I wouldn't imagine. Reg, what are you doing? What are you doing, Reg? Just give the guy the fucking rope, you muppet. He calls anyway. Turn 9. Check. I'm not remotely worried about 6-7. If 6-7's in his range, which it will be, and he's got there, which he will have sometimes, then he's just going to win 67.8 more big blinds less rake, isn't he? We bet. He calls. Ripper Jack. He leads all in. This is going to be a bluff of very high frequency because this guy bets river 61% of the time and only wins 43% when called. I'd be very surprised if this isn't a bluff. But it might just also be him value ordering himself with like ace-X. So yeah. But yeah, it's clearly we have an absolute snap call and we're just going to win nearly all the time here. Yeah, he value ordered himself with an ace. So is he bluffing there or not? I don't think he is. I'm not going to give that as a bluff. I don't think he's bluffing. I just think he's value owning himself. He just doesn't know what to do. He's just gone all in. He's not betting there thinking, oh, I can get ace 7 to fold or whatever. What would it? Yeah, ace 7 would be playing, wouldn't it? Would it? No, it wouldn't. Ace 8, ace 10. Is he trying to get ace 10 to fold? I don't know. He's not trying to make anything fold anyway. He just thinks he's got the best hand, or he's just betting for betting's sake. And to the next one, King 10. We open into a Fisher's Big Blind who calls. Flop second pair. Against the fish. Happy with either here. Let's have a look at its aggression post flop. Slightly above average across every street. So I'd probably slightly prefer checking. He bets full pot. It's uncomfortable already, but we have to call. Turn to Jack, which could be a good card. Reduces the value combinations in his flop betting range, I guess. Check. He bets pot again. Easy call. River 4. We check. He bets pot again. And this guy only wins river 29, only wins 29% of the time when he bets the river and gets called. So again, this is going to be like very heavy with bluffs and value owning themselves. So yeah, there's just no folding our hand here given how few times he wins when he bets the river. And if this is the time that he's just got us, then good for him. Call. And again, is the guy bluffing? I don't know. I mean, this is just a player that's just making a huge error with his. Like, I mean, I don't know what he's doing here. Is he Is he bluffing? Is he value betting? I don't know. I doubt he knows either. Yeah. Again, I'm not putting that down as a bluff because I don't think he was bluffing. So that's still only two bluffs. I mean, maybe was he bluffing? Of course, he's not bluffing. He's just betting again. Like the other guy was he's just like a bad player who just betting for the sake of betting. Maybe he's just like, I think I have the best hand, so I just bet. Not understanding that when you bet full pot on the river, you not only have to have the best hand, full stop. You is that not just like, have you got the bet when it checks to him? Does he have the best hand with pocket sevens? Sometimes, yeah. He's obviously beating Jack, Queen, Ace, King, things like that. Queen nine. But does he have the best hand when he bets pot and gets called? Never. Literally never. So that's just somebody who doesn't understand what the fuck he's doing. Basically. On to the next one. But I don't think he was bluffing. I just think he thought he had the best hand and didn't understand that he just had to check it back still. Limp. Limp. We check the big blind. Again, you have another like very loose player, 76-46, but he still manages to find like these bet frequencies, which off that pre-flop base is fucking absurd. I mean, the guy's playing 76% of hands, and he's still being aggressive this often post-flop. 37% flop bet frequency, 43% turn bet frequency, 81% river bet frequency from a base of a 76 VPIP. Absolutely out of control, wild. Call. Turn trips, overbet, call, fold, overbet again. Obviously, it was a trivial call, but was he bluffing? Yes. So that's 3 bluffs now. He was absolutely bluffing. And to the next one, everyone calls our 3x open. We flop ourselves. Pretty marginal holding. Don't think if we bet here, it's a mistake. This guy who's like very aggressive post up again. You can see the stats 56, 62, 55. Way, way, way above average. We can't fold to this guy. Turn jack. Yeah, there's just going to be no folding to this guy. He's just too aggressive. He just wins 60% of the time when he bets the river, but nevertheless, he's just too aggressive to fold to. He's getting dicey now. I know why I'm calling here because the guy's just like he's playing nearly 50% hands pre-flop. But we need to be very wary of sample size. It's 49 hands, but this will all have been from the same session, I would imagine. And I would have seen him just being like mega aggro in all spots. And I would just have made my mind up of not folding to him. But I think like 31% of the time we need to call to be good. He only wins 60% of the time when he bets river. But I wonder how often he wins when he bets a river following 2 previous bets after starting multi-way on the flop with everybody in. I don't think we can just look at this and be like, okay, I have a bluff catcher against someone who's really aggressive, so therefore I call, because maybe he's bluffing way less because of like it was heavily multi-way pre and he's barreled off. Maybe this is like, I still think it's relatively close, but I think this probably should just be a fold. I think. I mean, obviously we know we're calling because that's why we're making the video. And he got there and there with the ace 10. So that's not a bluff. He was bluffing until then, but then it wasn't a bluff. Ace queen, we open 2.5x, get 3-bet by a reg in the big blind. I think this is already close to a fold. You might think, what are you talking about, Reg? But I think people are just linear as fuck in these spots. They should be polarized from the big blind. They're not. They're not polarized in the big blind. This guy's, I mean, fair enough, he's finding more 3-bets and more. Oh, no, ignore that. Versus cut off, he's only finding 7% 3-bets over like, he's had 96 opportunities. He's only found 7 3-bets. He's not 3-betting correctly from the big blind versus cut off. which is why I think this is already leaning towards fold, because he'll find all the fucking good stuff and he won't find anywhere near the bluffs he's meant to find. Let's quickly just do something. Actually, in fairness to him, he's only meant to find. These are the ranges I'm using at 25. This is for like 25 and L. Maybe people using other ranges will have more raises here. But the ranges I'm using, he should only be 3-betting 9% of the time here, and he's getting to 7. So he's probably not that far off. But do I think he's finding enough of this stuff? That stuff we've got absolutely dominated? Probably not. And this is the stuff we need him to have a big chunk of this stuff, I think. Because everything else has just got reasonable equity against us. So yeah, who knows? But maybe I've been a tad unfair there. But I think this is very close to a fold. We do end up calling though, of course. We flop nothing. He range bets. We have the ace of hearts working and 2 overcards. We're not folding. We call. 9 on the turn. He checks. Very much doubt aces, kings, queens, jacks. Check here. The question is, do we have enough showdown buys to just check back? Do we bet to try and blow him off a hand like ace, king? I don't like just targeting one. I think we bet here. We kind of are only targeting ace, king. There's like better hands that can fold in terms of like, if we're going to turn our hand into a bluff here. What better hands fold? Ace, king. I doubt he's 3-betting like 7s and below from the big blind. Even if he is, does he fold them to one more bet? Don't know. Do we have enough showdown value with ace queen? We're obviously way ahead of king queen and stuff like that. Or is that king queen suited queen? A lot of the stuff that he's meant to 3-bet we're ahead of. I think we just have a check here. 10 river. He goes all in. And I'm clearly going to call because that's why we're here. This is just aces all day, isn't it? Aces and kings all fucking day. But this villain does have only 51% won at Showdown River after betting. So this guy does have bluffs. Because this would be a fold against a lot of, if I was playing against a reg who had like a 70% plus won at Showdown after betting, this would be a snap call. But 51%. You know, does ace queen now become a call? We still need 41% fucking equity to call. That's the issue. And this is a 3-bet pot, so I guess he's gonna have like more strong hands in his range. He's gonna this number encompasses all the single raise pots he's played, all like the limped pots he's played, which is quite a lot in this game. I think she's like not that close. It should just be a fold. But obviously I call because I'm a fucking idiot. And of course he had the overpair. I mean, I knew that. I knew he had the overpair. Called anyway because I'm a fucking idiot. So that was another non-bluff, by the way. So we're still only on 3 bluffs so far. We ISO the button. King 8 suited. We get 2 callers, both very loose players. Flop ourselves an 8. Get donked into. This guy, small samples, 75% donk bet, 6 from 8. Raisey Daisy. He calls. Turn break. He randomly donks again. His turn donk percentage is 3 from 5. Is it getting too thin to raise again? That's the question, I guess. Is it now too thin to raise? I mean, he's donked the flop, which he does with like seemingly almost any 2, and called a raise. So we've filtered him down a little bit. If we call again, do we filter too many hands out and only leave ourselves up against better hands and like flush draws? Does he call with a worse value combination? Is he value betting and does he call with worse? I guess if he's got an 8, maybe. Flush draws would definitely play this way sometimes. There's this villain type to play. It's like just incessantly aggro, as you can see, post flop. So we don't have a fold, but do we have a raise? I don't think we do at this point. I think we just call and then just let him do what he does. 9 river card stinks, doesn't it? And he now bets under half pot. We can't fold now. We beat value with his 8x. We lose to deuce x, of course. We lose to flushes. 6-7 if it's in there, which I doubt it is. But we beat value, and it's just a call. We bet less than half pot. We have a hand that beats some value, and we beat all his bluffs. So, and this guy has plenty of bluffs and like some maybe worse hands for value. Trivial call. Nothing else to say. And he was bluffing. So that's now 4 bluffs. Of 4 bluffs executed by the fish population. Limp, ISO, call. Flop an overpair. This guy's, again, one of these like loose passive guys, but like above average aggression post flop. This is what I would do in game. I would look at his float bet percentage. Float bet is how often does this guy bet when checked to by the pre-flop raiser. He bets 56% of the time. I think we have a slam dunk value check raise here, or just a big bet. Either's fine. We go with biggish bet. He calls. Turn 9. Shouldn't change too much. I mean, of course, he has some 9x, but he's like blocked a little bit by the way. 9-8's blocked by the board a little bit. 9-10's blocked by us. Yeah, I mean, I'm not overly worried about the presence of the 9. Obviously, I'd rather it hadn't come. I'm not too worried about it. But now, do we start checking and letting him do his thing? Do we bet again? I think it's getting thinner to bet. And we are up against a player who is aggressive enough to have some bluffs in this spot, or to just value on himself too. I think I prefer check. No, Reg, I think I prefer check, but we end up going with bet. He calls again. River King. We don't have a bet anymore. It would be way too thin. Problem is we have a pretty bad bluff catcher because like we'd like him to have 10x in his hand. We'd like him to have Queen 10 at this point. We wouldn't like him to have Jack 10. Like him to have Queen 10, Ace 10, 10-5 suited, which you might think, what are you talking about, Reg? May I refer you to the 77B pip? Yeah, we don't have a bet though. We do not have a bet. He bets. We only need 29% equity against this guy. Whatever. Call, I guess. He only wins 33% of the time in the river when called. So we do call. And again, I don't know what that is. Is it a bluff? Is it a value bet? I don't know. Do you know? I don't know. Are we put that down as a bluff or not? We'll put that down as half a bluff. We can't just say every time they like value on themselves they're never bluffing, because once in a while they might be like, shit, I'm going to turn myself into a bluff. Unlikely, but they might be. So we're going to make that 4.5 bluffs. 9-7 suited. We open the curve. Get called by the big blind. Flop ourselves a flush draw on a board that's very good for our range. But we get dunked into. I guess raising could be okay here, given we have like a big range advantage and we have like a draw with like no showdown value, but decent equity. I guess if I'm really on the ball here, I find some bluffs, some raises. Yeah, I think I like raise here. We just call, of course. Turn. Bet's really big again. This guy isn't as aggro. These stats are just slightly above population average, but only slightly. I think this is now close to a fold, to be honest with you. We're getting nowhere near the correct price to draw, but we do have like implied odds if we do make a flush, and he does have a set or 2 pairs, or maybe even just an ace. We're probably going to get paid enough when we make our flush to compensate us for the times We miss. But it's a bit dicey. In fact, I think it's very dicey. I think we should probably just fold, actually. But anyway, we call. River the flush. He now bets our pot. We have a jam here. And I clearly don't jam because I just call. Because this video is all about calls. So I think this is bad from me. I think when he bets this size on the river, we just go all in with our flush. Get called by straights, get called by sets, get called by two pairs, etc. I don't think this guy's bluffing here. Yeah, two pair. So that's not a bluff. But pretty bad for me for not raising. That is not good. King Jack offsuit. Two calls. Check. Bet or check, I'm fine with either. Versus these two opponents. Go with bet this time. We get called and we get called. I think we'd probably bet again. Call again. Now we're in trouble. Check. We can't bet a third time. We've been called in two spots. So we've filtered two ranges pretty hard here. Not saying we don't have the best hand, but I don't think we can bet and then get called by worse very often. We check. This guy just bets pot. So far, he's bet the river 41% of the time. Of the 6 times he's been called, he's won none of them. Trivial call. And again, no idea. Bluff or not a bluff. I haven't got a fucking clue. I suspect not a bluff. We're not marking that down as a bluff because I don't think he's bluffing, but what the fuck, mate? What the actual fuck? On to the next one. Open 10s. Get 3-bet by the same guy we just played that last pot against. I mean, we're fucking deep as shit now. All of a sudden, my first instinct was 4-bet. At this depth, I don't want to 4-bet anymore. We just call. Flop a set. Okay, we're not going to spend too much time analysing this. I check back. Probably a mistake. 6 turn. He now bets 1/3. I just call. I mean, Reg, we've got a set against a 76 fucking 32. And we're reaching the river with 41 fucking blinds in the pot. Fuck off, Reg. Just fuck off. And now he bets pot. And I know I'm not going to race because this is a calling video. How badly have I played this fucking hand? Again, was he bad? I don't know what he's doing there. I don't know what he's doing. I had no idea. Value betting, bluffing, probably bluffing. Who knows? Who fucking knows? I mean, can he win on a check call? Can he win on check for a start? Maybe. Can he win on check, I bet, call? Probably not. Does he win? Does he make me fold a better hand sometimes? Probably. Pocket nines. Pocket jacks, maybe. Queen X. So maybe. I don't know. Are we marking that down as a bluff or not? Yeah, I'm gonna give it another half credit for a bluff. So now we've found 5 bluffs. And we've got approximately definitely 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hands to go. Hello to the ladies. Squeeze. Call by a aggressive regular type. Could range bet here. Could check. Villain's quite aggressive post flop. I'm on board with either. Probably slightly prefer range bet, but he's going to fold a lot to it. I don't know. Actually, I don't know if I do slightly prefer range bet. And go with check. He checks back. Turn 7. I think we can start betting now. Maybe. Although on a bet call line, we're in no man's land on rivers, aren't we? If we bet any calls, we're in no man's land because we've filtered out a lot of hands. Then it's going to be too thin to value bet. Probably not ideal to bluff catch after like he calls a pre-flop 3-bet and calls a turn delayed c-bet. Actually, I think I prefer check still. Obviously not folding. 3, check. He does this side. He only wins 39% of the time when betting the river over this sample size. We're close to top of range here, aren't we? It plays this way. Yeah, just call. And he had a bluff. So that's now 6 bluffs. And the first time we caught a reg bluffing. We have opened the jacks. We've been 3-bet by. Well, I've got into fish tags. He got similar stats to the last player who I had tagged as like a reg. There must be a reason why this guy's green and not purple. Don't know what it is because I'm masking names. But we end up 4-betting here. I guess I'm fine, just happy getting it in against this type of player, I guess. Guess that's what we're going for. He just calls. He checks. I think we have just like check some pretty small bets here. I mean, I wouldn't be objecting to seeing something in the lines of 10 to 15%. Check back. No big betting, of course. We go with check. He probes turn. What's his turn probe in general? Only 30%. And this is a 3-bet pot. So that might be even lower. Call anyway. And river, he goes all in. We only need to win 24% of the time. He only wins 38% of the time when he bets a river. Trivial call. And again, no idea. Don't know. Don't know what he's doing there. But that's why he's got the green tag and not the purple tag. Because he's just doing things that don't make sense. We'll put that down as a half bluff again. Because I don't know. Is he just value owning himself? Is he value betting there? Is he value owning himself? Is he aware his eight's no good and he's trying to bluff me off queens and jacks? Fuck knows. Open min 3-bet by an absolute whopper dopper ding dong. Could 4-bet here. I'm probably just going to call her. Flop outside the top pair. Villain checks back. Turn. We lead. He raises. Yeah, not folding to this guy. 95-47 with aggression stats coming out of his fucking ear holes. Never folding. Ace river. This is going to get dicey. Check. Then he downsizes. We can never fold to this size against this player who only wins 25% of the time, albeit an incredibly small sample. There's just no folding to this guy versus this size. Why he hasn't gone all in, I do not know. We call. And again, no idea what he's doing there. Bluffing, value betting, haven't got a fucking clue. Don't know. Not marking that one down as a bluff, though. His hand's too strong for it to be a bluff, in my opinion. Limp. Big ISO. That'll be why. The 91-6 guy with the limp and call raise, 6 out of 7. That'll be why we've gone this side. This guy only folds to c-bets 1 of 8 times. I think c-betting he would probably be setting money on fire. He checks back. Turn check. He now bets full pot. On the turn, he's betting 59%, like 19 from 32. Probably not going to have enough of a sample here. It's turn float bets 2 out of 2. Still think this should be a fold. Still think we can just fold here. We're going to have pairs that can call, probably. Anyway, I didn't fold. River 3, total break. He goes all in. We need 24% equity to call. He can have some bluffs, I guess. He's not like totally devoid of bluffs here. We looked capped as fuck. He might just have like he's playing 91% of hands. He's got a lot of shit in his range. Still don't think we need to call though. I think it's a bad call from me. Yeah, at 7-8. Again, that's not a bluff. Clearly not a bluff because he fucking won. Just a few more hands to go. Pocket queens, limp, ISO, call. Why ISO this bigger? Limp and call. Yeah, this should have been bigger. Never mind. 2 callers. Big bet. Call. Call. I guess we're just betting again. Excuse me, Reg. This guy's never going to bet a worse hand. He's got like below average aggression stats for the first 2 streets, slightly above average on the river. This guy maybe has some bluffs because he has like above average aggression turns rivers. Maybe that's why I've done it, but I think we should just keep betting our hand. He's got a very good hand. We can get called by loads of worse. I don't like my check. Passive guy then bets stupidly small. Please raise, Reg. Reg, what are you fucking doing, you fucking fat idiot? River break, check. Bet 8 again. Please raise now, Reg. Obviously, we know I'm not going to. This is really weak from me. Really, really bad. Not happy with this. Call. And yeah, we just didn't stack King 10. He wasn't bluffing though, but we just didn't stack King 10 when we should have. That's not good. I do find multi-way pots quite difficult, but I mean that's just not good for me. I don't think. Once he bets that small on the turn, and man, the other guy, I don't know. No, I do know. It's just a fucking race. Shut up. Okay, 4 bets. Call. But this guy's 35-9. So his 3-bet range is going to be pretty fucking strong, one would imagine. And he's called a 4-bet. Ace King. Can we value bet? It's too strong to bluff with. Because if we bluff with his hand, it means we think he's going to fold pairs, which he's clearly never going to do. Do we have a value bet? That's the question. Maybe, but he did 3-bet pre and call a raise, so I think he's going to be quite pocket pair dense. Check back, turn queen. He bets 1/3 thereabouts. We can't fold. River, top pair. He bets big. Nah, it doesn't mean anything. It's on his sample size of 1. Which is probably this hand, I imagine. So we already know he's going to win. We obviously can't fold though. And he just had a set. Who knew? Who knew? Again, not a bluff. Last hand, 3 bets. Call. Top pair. Check. I guess I'm going for a check raise. Am I? Or am I just letting this guy hang himself? What's his float bet? I know it's a 3-bet pot, so it's not as accurate, but yeah, float. Yeah, this is what I'm doing. I'm just going to let this guy bluff it up. He's like float betting high frequency over a small sample. So I'm just going to, I've probably assumed I'd have more chance of like winning a big pot by letting him bluff off rather than by having him call with worse. Check, bet, call. Check. This guy does win 75% of the time on the river when he bets like 5 out of 7 he's won. and he's not overly aggressive on the. He only bets 38%, which is slightly above average, but not much. And then he wins a lot when he does, but we can't take this line and fold. So he goes all in. We still only need to win 33% of the time. He might be value betting Ace Jack that we just obviously beat. We're only really worried about him having like some sort of queen that he's just bet twice when he shouldn't have. Yeah, we just have to call here, don't we? As played versus this player type. And of course, he just had the ace queen. So there we go. That is the end of the video. We reviewed 24 hands and we've allotted 6.5% bluff. So we put that at 6. So basically, we've caught what we consider to be bluffs. Just caught people bluffing, sorry, or what we consider them to be bluffs, just 25% of the time on the river. It's a small sample size, but I think it does like not confirm. Confirms are too strong of a word, but you know it does reinforce the general popular myth, the general popular opinion. Sorry, that people just aren't bluffing rivers very often in micro sets because some of the hands we've marked down as bluffs, people actually had like they didn't have like a total air ball. They didn't have air. They had a hand that was a made hand that they were either turning into a bluff or just value betting too thinly or just doing whatever they were doing. It was always fish and they were kind of just value cutting themselves rather than bluffing. So if we actually count the total number of bluffs, pure bluffs, I think it was 2, maybe 3, none coming from regs, although most of these hands were against fishier players. Fucking that was a big pot as well, that one. We're just sitting now through the 65 bigs with one pair. Fuck off, Reg. So yeah, I think it's been an interesting thing for me to do. Hopefully, it's been interesting for you guys who've watched. And let me know what you think about not any of the hands that we've played. I mean, obviously, you've got the benefit of like seeing the results, so you can be really result orientated if you want. But I'd be interested in comments about like, what people think, or how frequently population bets rivers, and maybe break it down to how often regs bluff rivers versus fish bluff rivers. I think it's unquestionable that regs have fish have way weaker betting ranges on rivers and fish than regs do. I mean, look at the state of this cunt. 33,000 hands. He bets a river 14% of the time and wins 92%. Fuck off, you dick. What I like about this player is though that he's played 33,000 hands. He's got a 22 VPIP only. He wins 92% of the time on the river when he bets, and he's still fucking buried wherever that is, 20 odd buy-ins. He's a fucking idiot. So yeah, let me know what you think about. I might do these types of videos quite often. Like when I bluffed, when I've called, when I've checked winners, all types of things. Just reviewing different river spots because I've quite enjoyed doing this. So I'm going to do this again next week. We've got videos coming next week. A video I did with a gentleman called Lee, who was kind enough to do a hand review session, his hands with me. And we've got a video coming again from Martin next week too. But I'll also probably do one of these because I quite enjoy doing it. I don't know what the spot's going to be we're going to review, but we're going to review some spot or other and then try and draw some conclusions. But we're off now because I'm going to go and pick Mother up and take her to the clinic. Not that sort of clinic, by the way. She's 86, you filthy bastards. She's just getting her toenails cut. Because I ain't doing that. As much as I love my mother, I ain't cutting her toenails for her. So yeah, I'm out of here. Take care, everybody. As always, fuck the Tories, and bye bye for now.